What's going on, everyone? It's Sheena, aka Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. I'm going to talk today a little bit about felons. I get this question quite a bit. Felons, I want you to tap in. Tap in. Felons, tap in. Tap in. Okay, that was a lot. But anyway, so I want to talk about, how felons can actually do contracting and how you can hire felons. Now, listen to me. I'm not saying hire felons. I'm not saying that all felons are bad or all felons are good. Totally neutral on the subject. There's a lot of things that happen to people that's out of their control, and there's some people who don't deserve to work because they just not good people, and whether they're felons or not. So that's just a whole conversation that I'm not going to get into. But if you're a felon, you're changed, whatever the case may be, who knows what was going on in your life, and you're like, I want to do government contracting, and you're a good person, okay? Because you got to have good moral character to even want to get into this, because you're going to be working with the government. So you need to do right. Okay, so as far as hiring felons and really anyone with a record, because we have several contracts where people have to work inside of buildings, and so that's always like a hey. I don't think by law you can ask if someone is a felon or if they have certain charges, but we do tell them that there is a background check required for some of our projects. So I think you can ask, can you pass a background check? That's kind of like the way you can ask, but you can't ask, are you a felon? Do you have this type of record? It's basically, can you pass a background check? So if you are a business owner and you are a felon, or you have significant charges on your record, but you want to get into government contracting because you changed your life, everything is good now. That was 30 years ago, or maybe someone stole your identity, whatever the case may be. Now, the thing that you need to look for is, does this solicitation ask if you need a background check? That's the main thing that you need to look for. Does it? Really, I would say for most people who are felons to maybe stay away from some of the federal contracts, because a lot of them are going to require you to get a background check, but it also greatly depends on what it is. If they have contracts for something that's like a little out there, like let's say you're a distributor for products, they may not ask for any of that because they're going to use something like a drop shipping method where I gave an example in a few videos about 10 laptops that the Department of Education just needs for one training site. So it's a very small and quick contract. And so they just need 10 laptops, and then you're registered in SAM. Everything is good to go. And then you see the solicitation for something smaller, and they're not asking for any background checks. It's just a request for quote. Then you're, a felon, or you have charges on your record, then they're asking for a background check. Boom, you can still do a government contract. So a lot of people ask me that, but it really just depends on the agency. It depends on if it says it in the solicitation. Now, anytime that you have to get maybe on a military base, or anytime you have to go inside of a federal building, there may be that, like, where you have to actually work in there or be in there multiple times. There may be a time where you have to get a background check, and that's for local contracts as well. Well, that's really for corporate as well, where they may ask for that. And it also, if you're an employer and nothing to do with your record, but you have employees that need to work in a building, then you have to be aware essentially if that solicitation is asking for background check. Now, with us, we've had janitorial contracts where people worked inside of state buildings, like where there's sensitive data. And then we had, contracts where people are working 100% outside. They never see a building. Obviously, well, some contracts may ask for it, but most contracts are not even going to ask for a background check because the person is working 100% outdoors, like our litter pickup. So if you are a felon, or you plan on maybe hiring felons because you want to give back, maybe you are a felon yourself and you want to be able to provide jobs for people as second chance, then you may want to consider contracts that are almost always not, or almost never going to require a background check, like litter pickup, or even sometimes window washing. Well, sometimes they want you to go inside a building with window washing, or just any products where they don't necessarily need you to do a background check. Or I gave an example about motivational speaking. If motivational speaking for Department of Corrections, maybe it doesn't matter if you're a felon. They prefer you to be a felon because they want you to come in and talk to other felons to explain to them that they can change their life. So there's going to be a few different parameters. What you mainly need to look for is, does the solicitation state if someone needs to pass a background check? And let's just say it's something that you're reviewing and you're thinking, why in the world would this require a background check? Let's just give the example for for citywide litter pickup service. And you're thinking, okay, there's not no point does anyone need to be in a building. I don't understand why this particular solicitation would require a background check. I'm going to reach out to the contracting officer and ask, is this solicitation like, don't say this, but a lot of the solicitations are copy and paste. Like they just copied from any solicitation and just kind of filled in the gaps, and they didn't delete the part that states that you need to have a background check. So I would ask, since this is an outdoor opportunity, does the requirement for background check, is that standard for the agency because you need to get a badge or whatever the case may be? I would always ask that if it just seems like there's no reason in the world why this particular solicitation should require a background check. So to my felons or those who have charges on their record, don't be afraid. As long as you're a good person, I would say make sure that you still try to, fix your life by going into government contracting, because it could be completely life-changing, completely game-changing. So again, my GovCon Now course teaches about federal, local, and corporate contracting. Our GovCon Moneymakers community, make sure that you check that out. The link is in the description, and it's 100% free. So until next time, it's your favorite veteran.